Hey, I'm Jess Hugo, personal trainer and nutritionist, and I am here to show you that life is messy, but we're doing it anyway. Welcome to Doing It Anyway, the podcast for building the life that you want without burning out. Let's get into it. Hello, I am coming in with a Neurologist health update. Strap in, get your coffee. If you're driving, turn your listening ears on because we're about to go through a fucking lot. And I feel like because I've been waiting a few weeks to kind of just like make sure I can give you as much detail as possible and stuff, because there's no point giving an update and then being like, still don't know, you know what I mean? So it might be a bit like confusing and messy at times. So you really need to like invest into this conversation. Okay, let's go. I've had my neurologist appointment. So I went to my initial appointment. I know I just listened back to make sure, like to remind myself kind of what I said. I know I said that I was going to go get nerve studies and stuff like that before I saw her, but I actually ended up not being able to because it's like the neurologist does them. So I wasn't able to do any other preparation apart from I did go and get my eyes tested. So just for anyone who is potentially new here, stumbled across this today, you need to go back and listen to the health episode I did probably 2 months ago now. But also I got LASIK as well. If you don't know anything about me, I got LASIK in 2023. So I just wanted to check in with my eyesight to see how it was going, because I haven't got my eyes tested since basically, well, it was December 2023. So my last kind of testing, I did a year out post-op. My last testing was 2024. So it's been about almost 2 years. And then also that can be kind of like a thing of like if your eyesight is changing, it can be because of my eye and stuff like that. So I went and got that checked, and that's what I prepped for the neurologist, as well as obviously I did all my bloods with my GP. I just did everything I could, but I didn't have much control. Anyway, the optometrist was slay. My eyesight was slay. It was actually funny. I didn't really tell them I had LASIK. I just went in asking for an eye test. We did it, and then he came in, he's like, so you had laser eye surgery? Because my data was so freaking bad. And then suddenly it's like 10 out of 10 because they didn't have my updated data, obviously. And he was like, oh, where did you go? Like, your surgeon did such a good job. And I was like, you know what? I have heard so many horror stories about LASIK, and sometimes I'll talk to some of my clients about it because like their glasses fog up when they're training and whatever. And I like fully get you, and like they fucking slip off. Oh, it's so annoying. But I never convince anyone to get it because there's so much scarcity around there, and like you got to do your research, and every single thing in life has pros and cons, right? Like even me going to the neurologist and going down this, like, you know what I mean? There's risks to everything. There's pros and cons to everything. But what I always say is like I genuinely had such a good experience with my LASIK. The fact that my eyesight is still doing so well. Yes, it's only been a few years, but so many people I've heard have had complications with the recovery of like the flap on their like actual eye. The like dry eyes is like a number one symptom that is like you're almost guaranteed to get it post surgery, and I have never had dry eyes ever, literally ever. Obviously I took my post-op care really like structured and important. Like I took it very seriously, and I did all of the correct eye drops and stuff like that. But essentially when I did get my LASIK, they were kind of like, okay, you're gonna have to probably use eye drops for the rest of your life. I haven't purchased eye drops ever. So, you know, I actually did have a really good surgery. It healed really well. My eyes, just everything is really, really good. So that is still in a really good spot, which I'm happy with. So I got all that collated for my appointment. I came in, I had to fill out this massive onboarding. You know what? This actually shits me. And it's not just like from the neurologist, but just like GPs, everything. They ask for this extensive family history. And I don't know if anyone else like thinks about this or whatever, but this has been on my mind a lot with all of this. I don't know. We don't know. First of all, like my grandparents were of, and I'm sure if you're like similar age, you know this, were of the era where they would smoke and they would drink and they didn't really know the side effects. And it was way more common and way more normal. And so did they actually have a history of like strokes and, you know, health issues, or was it because they were doing things so bad for their body? You know what I mean? So it's really, really hard when they're trying to like collate your family history and make a correlation between me and my great grandma having a heart attack. And I'm like, I don't really think that has anything to do with anything because it was just such a different era. Like maybe base it off like my parents. But even though, like, again, I'm like really like, this is just a full health update, I guess, because this can't even just be neurologist at this point because it all like really links. But like even my PCOS, my mum doesn't have it, like my nan and all of that, as far as I'm aware, don't have it. Apparently, according to my mum, her side is super like fertile and get pregnant really quickly. So that's just, not that that's the only symptom and all of the things, but that's really just interesting because like 9 times out of 10 they really push the point of like, oh, it's hereditary. And I'm like, well, who the fuck in my bloodline has it? Because I don't know anyone. And it's the same thing with like my eyesight. My eyesight was so bad, it just doesn't even make sense at this point. And I'm like, who are we pointing the blame to? I think that they just say it's hereditary and they're like looking at all this data and I'm like, yeah, my great grandma had like a fucking heart attack. Like, yep, that must be like to do with my eye. Like, I know they're just doing their due diligence, whatever. But I just think that even doctors, we need to get rid of this, like what happened in the fucking 60s, 50s. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, it was just such a different era. And I have to like text my mum. I don't know. Some of them weren't even around by the time I came around and we're like looking through the bloodline and stuff. How crazy is that? How crazy is it that I can't fill out an onboarding form without having to text my mum and be like, oh, has anyone had a stroke? Has anyone had this? Has anyone had that? Like, it is crazy. And then you also just forget, like I actually forgot to write that I have PCOS on my form. And then when I got in, I was like, oh, I also have this. And she was like, oh, and I was like, oh God, like, I don't know. Anyway, went in for my initial appointment, told her all that bullshit, whatever. She said she could see my eye straight away. Interestingly, the optometrist was like, it is not Bell's palsy. It is definitely not Bell's palsy. And I was like, I know you're telling me, but like funny because he's just an optometrist. Like obviously, you know, he's not like a neurologist. And I told her all of this and she was like, I don't think it's Bell's palsy. Like some signs can be like somewhat Bell's palsy, but if you've had it for like this whole time, like I don't think it's Bell's palsy. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, but I need you to go and do an MRI, a nerve receptor test, a different nerve test. I don't even know what it was called, like a nerve stimulator test, and get new bloods. And I was like, fuck my life. Like, okay. So she gave me a referral for all this shit. I went and got the bloods. I went to my local pathologist because my partner, funnily enough, also needed bloods done. And I went and then they couldn't even do the bloods. They were like, oh, it's going to be like $100, which like, no, she literally wrote on my thing, like bulk bill this client. And I was like, fuck off. I've already just paid just for her to give me referrals. Like, I don't know how much it was now. I think, or actually she put her prices up, guys. They honored the bill or like the invoice they gave me, but her pricing's now $510. So I just paid $480 and for these referrals. Do not try to charge me $100 for this fucking blood test, babe. Anyway, and then she was like, I actually can't do it. Like, you're gonna have to go to like the actual place of the referral. Which it's fine, there is one like local to me, but I was like, oh, I've just spent an hour at this pathologist waiting to get in and then just finding that out. And I also had to wait for her to fuck around and try find it. And then she's like, oh, like, is your doctor located like at this clinic? And I was like, no, like I just live around the corner from this clinic, bro. Anyway, so then I had to go to another one, waited an hour again. It was literally like fucked. Like, I don't know why it took 3 hours to get my bloods taken. Even when I went to not the correct place, because you can get a referral and take it anywhere to any pathologist. But I went to the place that actually was like the pathologist she wrote. And they had to call. I don't know if it was her or who they called, but they had to call and confirm. It was just so much fucking around. And I was like, oh my God, how hard is it to actually get a blood test for specific things? Apparently so hard. So that was for like anti-musk, which is all the antibodies and like the autoimmune side of things that I was talking about. So I was kind of doing my second round of testing for autoimmunes, because if you listen to the last episode, I mentioned that you can get a negative, but it can be a false negative, so you can actually like go again and back it up just to be sure, and that could be a positive. So those are the ones that I was like trying to get. And she really wanted to just see if I had an autoimmune thing, because she was thinking it was either A, an autoimmune thing, or B, something on my brain, which is why she wanted me to get the MRI. Not like something crazy and like cancerous. It was just kind of like she felt like there was something blocking the side of my brain. So she was like, I just want you to go get that. So I had to get the MRI. It was like fucked because you had to fast for it. you had to get the dye, but it was different to the CT scan dye that I already did. I did the CT scan before and that was all clear apart from the sinus issues. That one makes you feel like you've like peed yourself, but no, I just had a different dye. I don't know. And then obviously I had to like lay completely still for like half an hour. It was chaos in that day as well. They were like running late. Try laying down, trying to be completely still, and your stomach's grumbling because you've been fasting. I was like, oh my God, I am starving in this fucking bitch. Like, I actually was really hard to lay there when you're I could hear it as well. And I was like, I wonder if they can hear my stomach grumbling. But it's because I had been fasting at that point for like 5 hours, which I know it doesn't sound that crazy, but I think I did a workout and everything. So I didn't even have like a post-workout meal, you know what I mean? So I was like extra hungry. It'd been like 5 hours at this point. I was like, bitch, hurry up, like let me in. They called my name at the thing just to tell me they were running behind, and I was like, oh, it's downhill from there, like seriously. Anyway, so I went and got that and they were like, oh yeah, like we'll get it back to you. And I'm like, whatever. Then I had to go for one of my nerve studies. Like, mind you, I did all of this like within 5 days. So I was like out every day, like getting blood tests, getting MRIs, getting studies on my nerves, and it was just like a lot considering like you guys already know I fucking have a job, believe it or not. And I was like, God, imagine if I worked for like someone else. First of all, they'd probably fire me. They'd be like, you're just like making up excuses not to come in every fucking day. But like, imagine if I worked like set hours as well, which sometimes I obviously have like set booking times and whatever, but like I was like, oh, I'm just like gonna have to work later and finish later. And that week I was definitely like working the most fucked hours ever and felt so exhausted. And I was like, whatever, the more exhausted I am, the worse my eye looks, so surely something will come up. Anyway, so I did the nerve study test. One of them, it was like weird because I asked if I could book them on the same day, and then they were like, no, it's like too much for the nerves. But the first one was only like 20 minutes. So she put all of these probes like on my face and stuff like that, and she was just like zapping me. And actually, you know what, one of them was like on the side of my cheek and like kind of like jaw vibes. That hurt like a bitch. And I was like, oh, what the fuck. And then the next appointment was like an hour or an hour and a half, and it's because they do your trap, so that's your muscle behind like your neck, between your neck and like shoulder, like the one that sticks up, that's your trap. And they did my wrist and my neck, and so she had like stuff stuck in my trap. She's like pushing into my trap and it's like zapping me nonstop, and my whole body is like fucking jigging and it's like crazy. But then once they do it, they then pause for like a minute. Then they go again, pause for 2 minutes, go again, pause for 3 minutes. So the reason it went for so long was because we had to keep like pausing for the nerves to come back down. So it gets up to like a 10-minute pause in between like going. So that's what made the appointment like so long. My Ultra Human tracked it as a nap. And I was like, what the fuck? I must have been so chill, so calm, because as well, you're not allowed to move. I was like, lucky I had my practice in the MRI. Lucky I didn't have to fast for this. You're not allowed to move at all. If you move, you have to fully reset. And it can make the appointment so long because, as I said, you need to take a break and then you have to fully reset. So you'd have to do that like 10-minute thing over and over and over again, and it's fucked. So it put it as a nap, and I was like, oh, so the zapping like wasn't that crazy, you little psychopath. I don't know. Anyway, and then I had to wait like 2 weeks for all of these results and stuff. And then in that time though, I had been sent my MRI results and they said everything was clear and fine. And I was like, okay, cool. So we've kind of like ruled that out. Which again, I didn't really think it was that, but like, we'll just see. To cut a long story short, I feel like you guys have just got enough background just then. I just saw my neurologist literally like 2 days ago. So this is the fresh piece. So the antibodies and autoimmune and stuff came back negative again. Stunning. The nerve tests came back completely clear and fine. Like everything is good in the nerve side of things. Stunning. And obviously the MRI, as I just said, came back clear. And I'm like, okay, so what the fuck is wrong with me? Because you said that you felt my face. At my first appointment with her, she felt my face and she could feel on the right side I have muscle weakness above my eyebrow and like that side of my forehead, just on my right. She also can see when I like scrunch my face, like she was making me do different facial stuff, and like squeeze my eyes shut. My right eye like can't squeeze shut. It's like a struggle. I can feel it and you can see it. Like I just can't get it like shut, squeezed. It can shut, like I just can't squeeze it shut. And she was like, yeah, like you'll have to do like facial exercises for that or whatever. And I was like, okay. And she was like, but I still feel like it's like a bit of an autoimmune disease that's like not showing up on the bloods. And she gave me this like long-winded name, which I don't even know, but I Googled it and it says it's like a rare condition that it doesn't show up in the bloods, but like you can have it and you need medication to kind of deal with it, I guess, and like live with it and try to make it better. So I got sent away with a prescription that has 6 supplies. And I was like to her, why does this have 6 supplies? Like, what the hell? And she was like, oh, like you're going to need to take it like long term type thing. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like we're going to try obviously fix the ptosis with this medication. So the ptosis is like the drooping eyelid, and then we're going to do facial exercises for your muscle. And I was like, but I'm like so confused right now, because why do I have to be on this medication for like multiple supplies? And she was like, oh, a lot of people like live on this medication. And I was like, but I'm 24, so I don't want to go on like medication for life. Like that is a 60 plus problem. Like I don't want to travel and have to think about my medication. I don't want to have to be like away somewhere and think about the medication. I don't want to have a busy day at work and think, fuck, I haven't taken my tablet twice today with food. Oh, fuck, I just ate. I haven't like it's just like that. Cool, it's good to like have some type of potential solution. I say potential because I'll get into it in a second, but I was like, that is not it for me. And I was like, okay, also like hesitant here because what if it doesn't work? And she was like, well, we'll just trial it and like come back in 8 weeks and we'll see what's happening. So like, who knows if this is even going to work for me, which is, there's that. But also I was like, when I took the other steroid, and this is like not a steroid, but still, when I took the other steroid, I got such bad side effects so quickly. I literally got the acne on my back straight away, the weight gain and like water weight and inflammation straight away. And I just don't want that. And I'm like, I guess like choose your fucking battles, bitch. Like, do you want the ptosis eye or do you want, you know, whatever the side effects are? And I was like, well, what are like the side effects? Like, I'm just obviously really hesitant here. And I do hate when people pull this shit about antibiotics or whatever. But I'm like, you need to get better. You need the antibiotics. But something like this, I'm of course going to be a little bit hesitant about, because like I already have health issues. I already have PCOS. I already have all these things. Like, I don't want to fucking just like take more stuff and fuck up things even more. Like, I just feel like, if you listen to my PCOS episode, this whole year so far has just been feeling so exhausting, so up and down with my hormones and everything, that I don't want to take something else and fuck everything up even more when it's already been feeling really shit. So I was like, what are the side effects? And she's like, oh, like gut issues. And I'm like, oh my God, tread lightly. The way she said it so casually, I'm like, what type? And she's like, oh, you know, like feeling sick, runny fucking poos. I was like, oh my God, I'm never leaving the house. I'm not leaving the house for the next 6 to 8 weeks, because what do you mean? All I can see is me like mid Pilates class needing to shit. What the fuck? And I was like, okay. And she was like, so just like fill it, you know, see how you go and come back. I try to like get an appointment at the desk, mind you, and she's like, I'm gonna have to add you to the cancellation list. And I was like, what the fuck? You don't even have an appointment for me to follow up. Like, again, she's booked and busy, whatever, but she somehow just got me into all these other appointments in the last week. I just told you I had 5 in like fucking 5 days. But then now for the follow-up, the receptionist is like putting me on the cancellation list. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know. So who knows if I'm even going to be like going back? Who even knows what's happening with these tablets? Today is day 2 of taking them. So I looked up the like side effects of them because I wanted to know more. So yeah, obviously feeling sick, sore stomach, running fucking poos, what the fuck? Okay. The side effects I've noticed in like one day, or I've like just felt like, you know, I can see it. Apparently it blurs your vision, and I've noticed if I look at like something like this happened literally last night. I was talking to someone and then I looked down at my phone and it was blurry. And I was like, when you've paid $8,000 for good eyesight. You don't want blurry vision, bitch. So I've already noticed that like straight off the bat, which is interesting because that wasn't like one of the first, well, she didn't even say that to me, and that wasn't one of the first things that came up on Google. I haven't felt sick though, which is good. I haven't shut myself, which is good. What else? There was something else that I was like, oh, I feel like, oh, actually it said that it makes you feel kind of like, I guess more like full and like locked in, kind of weird. And like, it just makes you like, I don't know what it kind of, because I was reading all different things, but it kind of just makes you like, apparently, I don't know, switch on. Like it's giving ADHD meds, but it's not. I don't know how to describe it. I'm going to quickly Google it to find the right word. Okay, I got it. Sorry, I had to Google that because I was like, I'm really fucking up what I'm saying. So it says it can improve mental clarity and exercise tolerance by reducing physical fatigue. And honestly, yesterday, the way I locked in for 4 hours straight, and like I'm saying that like that's a big deal. I'm the type of bitch that I can only go for like max 2 hours, and then I'm like, okay, I need to like get up, go for a walk, take the dog out, you know, like I actually need to move around. And yesterday I just managed to actually sit there and kind of like lock in on it. So, you know, maybe it will help my PCOS brain fog. I don't fucking know. But I thought that was interesting. It definitely says the thing about the eyesight, which, yep, that's happening to me, but it's only like, as I said, if I like move around, and like it depends how recently I took the tablet. But essentially what I have is an autoimmune neuromuscular condition where the immune system attacks the junctions between the nerves and the muscles, and it specifically causes fatigable muscle weakness in the eyes and eyelids, despite standard blood tests showing no detectable antibodies, which is why it's like not really showing up. So thanks a lot to I don't know who in the bloodline, because I've got this rare, apparently 1 in 10 fucking condition where it blocks or destroys the proteins at the neuromuscular junction in the eyes. So long term, I may need to take tablets. I'm like for the rest of my life. I don't know. It really just goes to like, it depends what I'm just thinking. Okay, like it depends. It depends what the fuck the next 6 to 8 weeks is going to look like, which I'll give you guys an update. I feel like this is such a great way to like just share the whole story. Like I give little updates here and there on my Instagram stories, but I think it can get like confusing. I posted that the other day, I've passed all my tests, like making a joke out of it, and then my client was like, so it's nothing, and I was like, no. I was like, it's like a whole story time, babe. But yeah, so I have that. I have to take these tablets and just see how it goes and do the facial like massage thing. She said as well that like this is not something I'm exploring yet, but she said that I can try acupuncture in my face. And apparently that's worked for people. I'm like, I'm going to need to just book a fucking 1 hour consult at a Chinese medicine herbalist store because I have so many problems with me. It's not even funny at this point. But yeah, so the mental clarity is kind of funny. Love that for me. And that's my life. That's where I'm at with things. I will see her. I didn't even get an appointment for 8 weeks. It's like literally like 10 weeks because there's literally nothing. But here's to hoping that it does kind of like fix my eye a little bit. One of my clients actually asked me, oh, so like, are you going to get Botox and like, what's the outcome with that? I actually didn't ask her about it because like, it's like this thing of like one step at a time. I'm going to take the tablets, see what happens. If they don't work, then maybe we can talk about Botox and things like that. But it's very much a thing of like one step at a time. And it is frustrating. Like when I reflect on the fact that we're currently in May at the time of filming, June, July, like we're halfway through the year and still no answers, and I feel like I've been chasing this for the whole year. But you know what? Whatever, such is life. I'm still fine. It's fine. I just have to like be across this. She said I should always kind of have like a supply on hand, I guess, throughout life. Something I have been thinking lately is it like seasonal? Does it really flare in summer with the heat? Is it like heat activated, if you will? Like I still have the ptosis always, but does the heat make it worse? Maybe because we've just come out of like summer really, and I feel like it's calmed down a little bit. It's still very much there, but I feel like it's definitely not looking as swollen and really like in your face. And so she said that could be a thing as well. Like maybe I'll have to take them in like summer and then maybe I won't have to in winter, but it's really hard to tell. Something else she did kind of mention was like potentially it's been caused by like a viral infection, which this is like common, right? You can get a cold or flu or whatever. You get this like really random viral infection and it causes other issues. But I genuinely like have not been sick. The last time I was sick, touch wood, was August 31st. The reason I know that specifically was because I had a brand event on and I had just kind of recovered, but I was still on like the end of being sick, and then it was outside in the cold and I felt like that made me like more sick again and whatever, and I just remember the dates of all that. That was the last time I was sick and I just had like a cold. I don't know, but I feel like I've shared this before, maybe not. I grew up getting tonsillitis like every fucking week to the point that we really considered taking out my tonsils. So maybe this is like a thing of like ages ago. I don't really fucking know, but yeah, next steps is we're trialing these tablets 6 to 8 weeks, actually 10, unless I get off the cancellation list, who fucking knows. And we're going to just see how it all goes. So that's kind of the update. I guess I'm just going to be consistent with it, but the eyesight thing's already fucking me up the wall. I think as well because like when your eyesight is off, it makes you feel like really fatigued and it makes you feel like your brain is fucked. Oh, it's just so many things, isn't it? I actually just remembered I told you guys that I would go into the pricing of things. I have it like written down, but it's literally downstairs, so I'm probably going to butcher it, but essentially this is what I've paid so far. I just want to be like obviously transparent about it because I feel like you just don't really know how much these things will end up costing you when you're like going down this journey. Like you just, and like I at first was a bit hesitant because I was like, oh my God, it's going to cost so much money to just potentially not get answers and stuff like that. Obviously like you are going to make it work somehow, but I just feel like it would be nice if you could find more information online. So I know I just mentioned this before, but initial consults with my neurologist is $510 because I got quoted the $480. That is what I paid, but from like going forward, new clients is $510. So I think the rebate was about $280 on that for Medicare. So all of the Medicares were about 40 to 50%, so about half, but not always. So sometimes like it just really depended. And then one of my nerve tests, only the 20-minute one, weirdly, was $410, and I got back I think like $230 or something like that. And then the other nerve one was $310. Weird, I know. And I think that was like a $180 back. I'm telling you the correct prices. I just can't remember the correct rebates because they're weirdly like, it'll be like $181.33. So I am kind of butchering them. And then my next appointment was $260. And then my next one was $280. So all up, I've spent about $1,500, and probably like with the Medicare rebate, it's probably ended up being about $750, $800, like just split it in the middle type thing. So all right. Oh, the medication that I got, supposed to be $51, but because of the PBS, the what's it called, like the rebate or whatever, I only had to pay $25 because of the like government cap or whatever. So if it's over $25, you just pay the standard $25, but normally the medication would be $51, which that's crazy as well. I'm going to be on this long-term medication. Imagine there wasn't the cap, but that's like $51. And I hate going to the chemist as is. I can't imagine going and getting this supply. I have to take 2 a day. So it's like, I would have to go back, I don't even know, like every month or two. So no, every 2 months to 3 months maybe. I just like not the vibe. That's all I've paid so far. My MRI was covered because it was from obviously a private specialist. My bloods ended up being covered because I went to the actual pathology place. So the other one didn't charge me that $100. So that was good. Did I do anything else? Everything else I paid for. So yeah, that's where that is all currently at. And then I didn't actually ask, but it'll probably be $260 to see her again in 6 to 8 weeks. So let's just like round it all up, probably paying $1.8 to $2 to find all these answers and whatever by the end of all of that. Because I don't even know what will happen. Like I can't say what will happen in 8 weeks time by the time I go to see her. Like will it be still there? Will it be gone? Like will I have to go back again? I don't really fucking know. It's just so frustrating when everything comes back really clear and really good, and I feel like we're kind of just drawing a conclusion of like, yeah, it's not coming up, like you've got this, but I don't really know. Funny how it's not Bell's palsy. Like bitch, we fucking knew it wasn't. We fucking knew it wasn't. I know it's not always your mouth and stuff like that, but it so commonly is. And like, even like I need to look up different facial exercises because the ones she gave me are like Bell's palsy related. And I'm like, girl, I need to build up like somehow my forehead. I don't know. So many like I don't know, she's very educated obviously, so she talked to me so educated, and I was like, can you spell that? Like, can you write that down? Like, I'm so confused. I almost walked away a little bit confused, and I was like trying to relay it to my mum, and she was like, why didn't you ask her to just write it down? I was like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I asked her to spell it. She started spelling it really quickly. She must think I'm smarter than I am. I don't fucking know. I was like, it was just all confusing and a lot. And like, I'm retelling the story so bad because I was like confused. And I think it's like a trial and error thing. So it's like, I don't know. But I also think when you get diagnoses, why does everyone just brush it off? When I like got my PCOS diagnosis, she was kind of just like, yeah, so you've got PCOS. Okay. And now what? Like, don't just stop there on the story, babe. Like, keep going. What do I do about that? You know what I mean? Anyway, I feel like that is all the juicy details for now. As I said, I'll come back in soon and I will give you the update in like 8 to 10 weeks time if it's like juicy. If it's not, I'll probably just put something on my story about it. Anyway, thanks for coming along this journey. I can't believe it is so crazy. I love when you guys DM me as well and give me like insights and sharing things about like how your family member or this person has like been dealing with this and that. It's so interesting to hear everyone's like perspective on things and what everyone's dealing with. So I actually really appreciate you guys coming in my DMs with things. But that is all from me, and I will catch you in the next one. Mwah. And that is a wrap on another episode of Doing It Anyway. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love for you to rate it 5 stars, share it with your friends, share it on your stories. And if you have any feedback, I would love to hear it. Please shoot me a DM on Instagram. All my links are below. See you in the next episode.